afternoon, everybody. It's good to see y'all again on this Sabbath. We have got an exciting lesson for y'all today. A lot of knowledge is going to come out here. Put in a lot of work. Brent and I both studying for this. You're going to get your eyes open a little bit tonight. It might be something a little different than what you're taught. If you're going to a Sunday church, this is going to be a little different. But it's the truth. Everything we've got, we're going to back it with the Bible. But with that being said, Brent has got something on his heart for you he wants to do.
We're just going to read the 10 Commandments to start it all out. That's usually how we do it, just so that we got the 10 words in there. And then this lesson is probably going to be a little bit longer than the last one. So we'll just read the 10 Commandments this time, and then we're going to get started. We're going to go right into it. You ready?
That sounds good.
All right, here we go. And I, Elohim, spoke all these words, saying, I am Yahuwah Elohaka, which have brought you out of the land of Mizraim, out of the house of bondage. You shall have no other Elohim before me. You shall not make unto you any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in the heavens above, or is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down yourself to them, nor serve them. For I, Yahuwah Elohaka, am a jealous El, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing loving mercy unto thousands of them who love me and guard my commandments. You shall not take the name of Yahuwah Elohaka in vain, for Yahuwah will not hold him guiltless that takes his name in vain. Remember the day of the Sabbath to keep it holy. 6 days shall you labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath of Yahuwah Elohaka. In it you shall not do any work, you, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your manservant, nor your maidservant, nor your cattle, nor your stranger that is within your gates. For in 6 days Yahuwah made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them is, and rested the seventh day, wherefore Yahuwah blessed the day of the Shabbat, and hallowed it. Honor thy mother and father, that your days may be long upon the land, which Yahuwah Elohaka gives you. You shall not kill, you shall not break wedlock, you shall not steal, you shall not bear false witness against your neighbor, and you shall not lust after your neighbor's house, you shall not lust after your neighbor's woman, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, or anything that is your neighbor's. And that's the 10 words there. So,
Hallelujah.
What we're thinking about getting into today is, what are you after you come to Christ? Are you still a Gentile, or are you supposed to be something else?
Well, I mean, according to the Sunday church and that teaching, you're still a Gentile. But I say we get into the Word and show them what the Bible really says.
Yeah, because I think the grafted in of the nation starts all the way back in the Exodus, in the Old Testament. And what we're going to try to do here today is I'm going to give a lot of the Old Covenant ways that shows that in order for one of the nations to come in, there's some things they had to do to be considered part of Israel. And then you'll do some of the New Testament stuff.
Yeah. I'll get into the New Testament and show you that I might be jumping ahead, but show you that the Old Covenant with the same people for the New Covenant.
Mm-hmm.
It never changed. Said that on the last video. It's the same beginning to end. But Brent's going to cover the Old Testament stuff, and I'll read some stuff out of the New Testament. And at the end of it, you should have a clear understanding that you're not a Gentile anymore. Once you come into this covenant, your heart's been circumcised.
Well, it's a separate covenant made for somebody else other than. Well, I guess we'll just have to find out in the Bible.
We'll just have to find out.
I don't know. We'll see. So we'll start out in Exodus, which is where the 10 Commandments are, and it's pretty close to that. Let me see where I was going to go. 12:47. So it's on back a little farther. We're going to go to Exodus 12:47. A lot of highlighting in that one. All right, 12:47. All the assembly of Israel shall keep it. It's talking about the Passover. And when a stranger shall sojourn with you and will keep the Pakat, which is the Passover, to Yahuwah, let all his males be circumcised, and let him come near and keep it. And he shall be as one that is born in the land, for no uncircumcised person shall eat thereof. One Torah shall be to him that is homeborn, which is the natural seed,
That's right.
and unto the stranger that sojourns with you. So right then and there, because right after when Israel left, and we may be going to that next, but there was a mixed multitude of people that came out of Egypt with Israel, which was some of the Egyptians, because they had just seen all these 10 plagues, and they said, you know what? That whatever they got going on, I'm going to go be a part of that, because if I stick around over here, they ain't no telling what's going to happen. So they left with them. So they had a mixed multitude of people, and yes, that probably means men, women, children, you know, all that kind of stuff. But there was a mixed multitude of people. There was other people that went. So that was how they were grafting them in, as the same way. In order for them to keep the Passover, they had to be circumcised, they had to keep the Passover, and then they were grafted in as one of the homeborn. So that's that one. And then we'll go to 28, which is actually the fourth commandment, and it says in there that is for both. Number 8, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but on the 7th day is the Sabbath of Yahuwah Elohaka. In it you shall do no work, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your manservant, nor your maidservant, nor your cattle, nor your stranger that is within the gates. See, that Sabbath, if you were sojourning with Israel, because that's kind of what you are if you're not the natural seed, and you are a Gentile of the flesh, which means born a Gentile. But when you come into the covenant, you're counted as the natural born.
That's
so
right.
That means you do what they do.
That's right.
You know, you take on the customs of Israel, and you start learning the Torah.
That's right.
Or at least after this point, you know, first they get the 10 words, and then everything's going. So they had to teach the ones of the nation.
That's right.
They had to teach them the way, is basically what it was called, the way that you're supposed to worship and follow the Elohim of Israel.
That's right.
So that's that one, and then we'll go to Exodus 23:12. Mm-hmm. 6 days you shall do all your work. On the 7th day you shall rest, that your ox and your ass may rest, and the son of your handmaid and the stranger may be refreshed. And that was 23:12. That's a pretty short one. Now we're going to go to Leviticus 16. We're going to do 29 through 31. Let's see where we at here. (16, 29 through 31). We got a lot of notes. We're going to try to buzz through this, but it's about to get good.
It's about to get good.
Oh, yeah. All right, 29 through 32. Now this is talking about the Day of Atonement. So he's given a feast day, and he's telling who the feast day is for. This is one of the Most High's feast days, is Atonement. And this shall be a statute forever unto you, that in the 7th month, on the 10th day of the month, ye shall afflict your souls and do no work at all, where it be on your own country, or a stranger that sojourns among you. For on that day shall the priest make an atonement for you, to cleanse you, that you may be clean from all your sins before Yahuwah. It shall be a Shabbat of rest unto you, and ye shall afflict your souls by statute forever. And that's the Day of Atonement. That's the one right before Tabernacles, when we get to have so much fun.
That's right.
I mean, who wouldn't want to go camping for 8 days?
I mean, really.
Yeah, and then we'll go to Leviticus 17. It's pretty much all of it is what I got highlighted. But let me see here for the sake of time. I know I got 17:7. I know I got that highlighted. And they shall no more offer their sacrifices unto devils, after whom they have gone a whoring. This shall be a statute forever unto them throughout their generations. And you shall say unto them, whosoever man there be of the house of Israel, or of the strangers that sojourn among you, that offers a burnt offering to sacrifice, and brings it unto the door of the tabernacle of the assembly, to offer it unto Yahuwah, even that man shall be cut off from among his people. And whosoever man there be of the house of Israel, or of the strangers that sojourn among you, that eats any manner of blood, I will even set my face against that soul. The blood, that soul that eats the blood, shall be cut off from among his people, for the soul of the flesh is in the blood. See, right there, he's telling us, if you're a stranger, if you're one of the nations and you're coming in, that's part of the Torah. We're in Leviticus. He's laying down some laws here. Don't be drinking blood, and don't be going after other gods.
That's right.
You know, that's for the stranger too, that's coming into the covenant.
Right. Yep.
Because the whole point of the covenant with Israel and to give the law, which I'm sure we'll get into here after a while, was to be a light to the nations.
To the nations, that's right.
That means, why would you want them to be a light to the nations if not to bring them into the covenant?
That's right.
Otherwise, they could just keep on being Gentiles
Just
and they could
being
be
what
saved.
they're being, that's right.
Yeah, otherwise they could just keep doing what they're doing, and later on maybe they'll get another covenant just for them.
That sounds a lot like a Sunday church, don't it?
Well, it is a Sunday church, and that's how it goes. But and whosoever man there of the children of Israel, or of that of the strangers that sojourn among you, which hunts and catches a beast or a fowl that may be eaten, he shall even pour out the blood thereof. So it mentions it again, and then on down even further, it mentions it again in 15. And every soul that eats that which die of itself, or that which is torn with beast, whether it be of your own country or a stranger, he shall both wash his clothes and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until evening. So the unclean counted for the stranger that was coming in too. And then after that one, it's 18:26 through 30. You shall therefore guard my statutes and my judgments, and shall not commit any of these abominations, neither any of your own nation, nor any stranger that sojourns among you. I know I'm kind of froze up here. I'm looking for my next one. 19:18, Leviticus 19:18. You shall not avenge nor bear grudge against the children of your people, but you shall love your neighbor as yourself. I am Yahuwah. And that's one of the greatest commandments.
It is.
You know, you look, which that's not the stranger. Stranger's not your neighbor. I actually kind of just threw that in there. I think I marked that in my notes because it was part of the two. Because we're gonna do a teaching later on. There's the 2, there's the 10, and then there's the whole thing. So
yeah.
you know, we're kind of merging
right.
into that, because that's got a lot of doctrine that's all messed up on that one too.
That's right.
So, and then that was just a love your neighbor commandment. I just happened to catch where it was, so I highlighted it. So 1933 will put us back on track.
1933.
Yeah. Yeah, 1933. Let me go back. No, wait. Yeah. And if a stranger sojourn with you in the land, you shall not vex him. But the stranger that dwells with you shall be as to you one born among you. And you shall love him as yourself. For ye were strangers in the land of Mizraim. I am Yahuwah Elohaka. When they were strangers in the land of Mizraim, you know, they were in slavery.
Yeah.
So when they came out of slavery, they got set free. I mean, the Most High isn't going to come and take you out of slavery and then put you in some other kind of slavery.
No, sure.
Yeah, so, I mean, we were once slaves ourselves to sin.
That's right.
It's the same difference.
Yep.
We were slaves to sin and pagan things and all that stuff.
And what is sin?
It's transgression of the law, or the Torah, whichever way you want to go. That's the definition of sin. So we'll get on into Leviticus 21:2. And Yahuwah spoke unto Moshe, again you shall say to the children of Israel, whosoever be of the children of Israel, or of the strangers that sojourn in Israel, that gives any of his seed unto Molech, he shall surely be put to death. Now Molech was one of the pagan gods, where they called it passing the child through the fire. That was already going on. So he's warning Israel about taking your child and burning it to Molech. And what we have these days, but a whole bunch of abortions going on.
A
It's
lot
no
of
different.
That's right.
It's no different right there. If you're doing that, you are sacrificing that child to another God.
That's right.
And it's not going to be stood for by the Most High,
No, sir.
because you're not going to get away with that one. And then, of course, we've got Isaiah 56. Now, this is where we're going to get into some real grafting in. Now, Isaiah 56 is an extremely important, because Isaiah 56 lines right up with Romans 11. It just lines right up with it, if I'm not mistaken. So, thus says Yahuwah, guard ye judgment and do justice, for my Yeshua is near to come, and my righteousness to be revealed. Blessed is the man that does this, and the son of Adam, that lays hold on it, that guards the Shabbat from polluting it, and guards his hand from doing any evil. Neither let the son of the stranger that is joined himself to El Yahuwah speak, saying, Yahuwah has utterly separated me from his people. Neither let the eunuch say, behold, I am a dry tree. For thus says Yahuwah unto the eunuchs that guard my Shabbat oath, and choose the things that please me, and take hold of my covenant. Even unto them will I give in my house and within my walls a place and a name, better than the sons and of daughters. I will give them an everlasting name that shall not be cut off. Also the sons of the stranger that join themselves to Yahuwah to serve him and to love the name of Yahuwah, to be his servants, everyone that guards the Shabbat from polluting it and takes hold of my covenant. Even them will I bring into my holy mountain and make them joyful in my house of prayer. Their burnt offerings and their sacrifices shall be accepted upon my altar, for my house shall be called a house of prayer for all people. Meaning all people are welcomed in to the covenant.
That's right.
But there's only one people.
There's only one people.
When you come into that covenant, you're one of those people.
That's right. That's
one.
Israel, y'all.
Yeah, that's Israel. That means Israel. And Adonai, which gathers the outcasts of Israel, says, yet will I gather others to him beside those that are gathered unto him. All you beasts of the field come to devour, yea, all beasts in the forest. His watchmen are blind. They are all ignorant. They are all dumb dogs. They cannot bark, sleeping, lying down, loving to slumber. Yea, they are greedy dogs which can never have enough, and they are shepherds that cannot understand. They all look to their own way, everyone for his gain, from his quarter. Come ye, say they, I will fetch wine, and we will fill ourselves with strong drink, and tomorrow shall be as this day, and much more abundant. I probably read a little bit too far. We didn't have to go all the way to the end, but once you get that close to the end of the chapter, you might as well just cap it off.
I'll tell y'all, that's amazing that we'll have names better than sons and daughters. Let that sink in for a little bit.
Yeah, because think about it, man. The sons and daughters are born with the Torah.
That's right.
They're taught the Torah.
That's right.
We, as being once Gentiles, before we came to the knowledge of the truth, we didn't know the Torah because we wasn't taught the Torah.
That's right.
So, I mean, it's even better. I mean, that's what I'm pulling out of it, that it's even better the fact that a Gentile finds the way.
That's right.
And attaches himself to Israel like he's supposed to, and follow in the way, as it's called, the way of Yahuwah.
Yeah.
Is what it is, because even in the New Covenant, those early, well, they call them Christians, but they weren't Christians. They called themselves followers of the way.
That's right.
And and at that time it was still the followers of the way, but now they knew that that their Messiah had come, the real true Messiah. Because if I'm not mistaken, when you look in the Bible, the Pharisees talk about another cat. When Jesus starts coming, or Yeshua starts coming on the scene, they're like, oh, well, there's a couple other cats that did this before, but it'll fizzle out. Don't worry about it.
Right.
Well, they kind of started fitting. Then it kind of flip-flopped on them, and then then they end up killing him, and then they're like, double, because you don't think they knew after that they're like, we really messed up now.
That's right. Yep.
So the Isaiah 56 is crucial in the Old Covenant, and that's why I wanted to go that direction and start with the Old Covenant, so that you can see the original covenant.
Yeah.
the original covenant, the only way for the Gentile to attach himself to the Yah of Israel, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, was to come into the covenant. So the Son can't come preaching something different than that. There can't be some different doctrine in the new covenant, because we're about to hit Ezekiel 3:18 through 21. This is interesting right here, because I want to lay all. And I'm mostly just kind of reading these verses, and we'll kind of get on it, because I really want to get into that New Testament, because that's, we always get the people, well, we're in the new covenant now.
Well,
are you?
No.
Are you in the new? This is going to be the question. Are you in the new covenant?
That is deeper than what it's
Yeah.
saying, right? Yeah. Yeah, I will leave it with what Brent said. Are you in the new covenant?
I mean, that's kind of the question I may be a little sarcastic sometimes. I don't know, but
No.
and I don't mean it in a bad way, but some people will say things, and I'll literally be like, well, really, are you?
Well, here's the thing. A lot of people, and me too at one time, so I'm not pointing fingers at everybody. I mean, I'm trying to come with love, but, when people say that when Yeshua died on the cross, he done away with all this stuff, therefore we're to do something totally different.
Yeah.
But like Brent just said, what the Father said in the beginning, what he said, the covenants, it's the same covenant for the New Testament. Am I right?
Yeah,
it's the same covenant. It's just we have a mediator now.
Yeah, we have a different mediator.
We've
got an eternal mediator.
That's right.
In the old covenant, yeah, I get where people are coming. It does say that covenant faded away.
Right.
Because Moses was fading away. His flesh, he couldn't live forever. At some point, Moses was going to die. But he was the mediator of that covenant. He was, his brother Aaron was the priest, but he was the mediator of the covenant.
That's right.
So, but you got a fleshly priesthood on this earth at that point.
Yes, that's right.
Well, by the time you get to Matthew, the priesthood's corrupted, because these are men of flesh. So now, when you read through the prophets, now the priesthood is taking bribes and worshiping other gods in the temple, and they're doing all these abominations and not doing things the way they're supposed to. So yeah, that covenant was going to pass away, because the whole intent was for a covenant with the Messiah, and that's the new covenant.
That's right.
Same Torah.
Same laws.
Yeah, it's the same thing. The only change is, as Hebrew 8 say, and we'll get on that too, there was a necessary change in the law of the priesthood. That's what that's talking about. There was a necessary change in that, because it was always meant to have that perfect lamb for that final sacrifice to create the new covenant.
That's right.
With Messiah as our mediator between us and the Father. Right. Because Moses always went, because Israel, after one good time of seeing it, they was like, we ain't fooling with that. You go talk to him, and we'll just do what you tell us to do. And that's kind of what it was. So now we don't have to be like that. We can go through the Messiah to the Father. But he has to know you.
And he has to know you. That's right.
He has to know you before he's going to do that. Because I can go up to, we won't use Biden, but I could go up to the White House and say, hey, let me in. I know Donald Trump. Well, that ain't, just because I know Donald Trump ain't going to get me in the White House. But if Donald Trump comes on the balcony and says, oh yeah, I know him, I get to come in.
That's right.
So I hate to use Donald Trump on that, but it's a a cool little analogy.
Yeah, that's good.
You want to know him, but getting back on track. Ezekiel 3:18. Let me make sure I'm right on that. Yeah, 18 through 21. Ezekiel 3:18 through 21. I can't believe I didn't highlight that. When I say unto the wicked, you shall surely die, and give not him warning, nor speak to warn the wicked from his wicked way, to save his life. The same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood I will require at your hand. Yet if you warn the wicked, and he turn not from his wickedness, nor from his wicked way, he shall die in his iniquity, but you have delivered your soul. again, when a righteous man turns from his righteousness and commits iniquity, and I lay a stumbling block before him, he shall die. Because you have not given him warning, he shall die in his sin, and his righteousness which he has done shall not be remembered. But his blood will I require at your hand. Nevertheless, if you warn the righteous man that the righteous sin not, and he does not sin, which is transgression of the law, he shall surely live, because he is warned. Also you have delivered your soul. So one of the reasons we got to get this message out here, and there's a sense of urgency, because of obviously where we are and where we're going as a nation and all that stuff in the political realm with everything going on. Nathan, man, if we know the truth and we don't tell another person the truth when we know we should, that they're going to die in their sin.
Yeah.
And their blood's going to be on our hands.
That's right.
Because we didn't tell them the truth and we knew the truth. Now, if you tell somebody the truth and they just disregard the truth and they go away, the blood's not on you.
That's right.
You did what you were supposed to do. See, we can't do anything to change anybody's mind about anything. All we can do is the work for the kingdom, which is plant the seed, like the parable of the sower.
That's right.
Things like that. All we can do is go out there and try to plant good seed, good righteous seed. So hopefully there'll be a harvest root of a good righteous harvest.
Yeah, that's something I've had to work on too. Is once I saw the truth, that sense of urgency to want to tell everybody, want to tell family, friends. I almost felt like I was hounding them about it.
Yeah.
But we're to tell people, not hound them. We got to plant the seed and let God let it, water it, let it grow.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's just how it is. But there is a sense of urgency. We're cutting it down to the line here.
I think so.
I believe. I don't believe we're going to see this thing go on too much longer.
Yeah.
But
we got much more, and now that we've done that, because we were talking about the covenants, and so we showed how there's a grafting in the beginning, and we know the Bible works like this. We know that it's like gears, and everything should line up. So there should be 2-3 witnesses on things, and then there should be the things that are spoken of in the two separate covenants. And one thing I always say is the original covenant is the thicker part of the book. And I think what people don't understand is, are you a part of the renewed covenant? Because they think that the renewed covenant is just the writings in the New Testament, but the writings in the New Testament weren't around when Paul and these guys were around. All they had was the Torah and the Tanakh, which was the Torah and the Old Testament and the prophets. That's all they had to go by. So that's what they were always quoting.
that's right.
The Messiah was always quoting the Torah all the time through there. It was always something, and really, we'd probably get into Matthew 5 today, won't we? So the Beatitudes is in there.
Yep. That's
So
right.
there's a level that there's another spiritual level that he puts on all those commandments.
That's right.
And don't make them easier.
No. No, it don't make them easier.
It don't make them easier. But Jeremiah 31.
It's a good one.
Yeah, Jeremiah 31 through 34, and then I think that'll bridge us on into that new covenant part of it. What do you think?
I believe it will.
And I don't know why it takes me forever to find Daniel in mine. It's in a weird spot in the separate. Well, I won't say a weird spot. Apparently, it's in the spot it's supposed to be, but it's a little bit different from. Oh, here we go, right there, right to it, man. I turned right to that today too. So we're gonna go to Daniel 25:7, and the whole book of Daniel is crucial. It lines right up with Revelation. So that's another thing in the old everybody calls it Old Covenant. I just call it the Covenant. It's the first covenant. But everybody talks about how there's a revelation of Jesus Christ in Revelation. That was his revelation. Well, Daniel gets revelation in Daniel, and it lines right up with Revelation.
Yeah.
It's like, that's why I say, like, you could have the old covenant with the Torah, the whole story from Adam and Eve all the way through Deuteronomy, starting with the prophets and then the kings and through David and then through those prophets after that, you can, if you just keep up with that, you get everything you need to get, because you got Daniel. Oh, and then you throw the book of Enoch in there too. If you throw the book of Enoch in there with Daniel, Genesis, Revelation, and all those books, you get a whole thing. But this is what Daniel said. And he shall speak great words against Elion, and shall wear out the Kodeshian, which is the set apart saints of El Elyon, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a period of time and times. Oh, wait a minute. I just read the entire wrong thing. I'm supposed to be in Jeremiah. I'm in Daniel. No. I'm sorry. My mind switched right in the middle of that one. Man, that is... I'm so... My wife was over here. She had a sign up going... Jeremiah. So that's how it goes with this thing, man. We told you,
I know, we was looking at each other.
Oh, I know. We are definitely not, anybody's preacher or teacher.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. We are just students, so we
makes it even better.
Yeah, it does, actually. Well, I mean, if you can't have fun with it, it ain't like we ain't gonna mess up sometimes.
That's right, brother. What was it? Jeremiah 31, wasn't it?
Jeremiah 31 through 34. Wow, that was something else, but that's okay. 31 through 34. Okay.
You know, the bad thing about it was I couldn't even find Daniel. I was sitting on Ezekiel acting like I was looking at him.
Well, that's all right. We have it's Shabbat. It's Shabbat night.
Oh, we have fun with it, y'all.
We have a
have
good
fun
time.
with it.
Y'all should see what we ate in there. That's what me and Nathan was so fired up to do this thing, and then we ate all that food, and we're like,
man, as y'all cannot tell, I like to eat.
Yeah. we
I like to eat, so we believe in eating.
Yeah, we're gonna start posting our feast table, man. I tell you, it's something else.
It is.
Did we get a picture of it this time? Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, we're gonna start putting that stuff on there. Y'all get a kick out of that. But back to the thing. We've had some fun. Okay, Jeremiah 31, 34. Behold, the days come, says Yahuwah, that I will cut a renewed covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Yehudah. We Christians?
No, the house of Judah.
Yeah. Any Gentiles included?
No, sir.
No Gentile?
No covenant with the Gentile.
No covenant with the Gentile there. So this is a new covenant. Not according to the covenant that I cut with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Mitzrayim, which my covenant they broke. Not the Most High never broke the covenant. The covenant, as a matter of fact, the covenant never stopped. They broke the covenant.
That's right. That is.
His covenant still stands, but those people are going to be broken out of that covenant. So that's what happened there. So, he's going to make a new covenant with the house of Israel and the house of Judah. Not like the one that I made with your fathers, which they broke, although I was a husband unto them, says Yahuwah. So he was a husband to him. So on Mount Sinai, he married Israel.
That's right.
He gave his Torah, or the 10 Commandments, the 10 words, however you want to lay it down. He gave that to Israel. Those are the wedding vows. So when and it's to show them what sin is and what right rulings are and judgments and statutes and all of that good stuff. So why would he start a new covenant with a Torah that's going to be done away with later?
That's right.
Because it's the same Torah, and it's just that I'm going to have a renewed covenant with this, my bride, because Judah came back. So he's done divorced them, but he's going to make it. He says, I'm going to cut a new covenant. I'm going to make this thing right. With the house of, after those days, I will put their Torah in their inward parts and write them in their hearts, and I will be their Elohim, and they will be my people. And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor, and every man his brother, saying, No, for they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them, says Yahuwah. For I will forgive them their iniquity, which is their Torah breaking, and I will remember their sin, their Torah breaking, no more. Now the way that he was going to do that was he was going to send the Messiah. He was going to be the final sacrifice. He didn't die to do away with the Torah because the Torah, the transgression of the Torah is sin. So in order to start a new covenant with new people, they're going to have to know what sin is.
That's right. I mean,
Because I ask this question a lot, and it's not really a joke. Do you believe that you can just commit perpetual sin, whether you know it or not, and make it to the kingdom? So, if you're teaching a doctrine to where the very thing that tells you what sin is, you're saying is done away with, and it's still sin.
Well, it's still funny to me that they're teaching them that you keep the 10 Commandments.
Mm-hmm.
You do them.
Mm-hmm.
But what's the problem with the fourth one?
Mm-hmm.
It just blows my mind. And you can't say that. You really can't say that there's. Well, I don't know. I didn't know. That's not an excuse because it's in your Bible.
Yeah.
The fourth one. That's just to me. That's the biggest one that we have an issue with now.
Yeah.
Is keeping the Sabbath day.
Yeah.
He give you a number for a reason. Can you count on your hands 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? I'm not being mean. I'm just being.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you count 7. That's the day that it's on. I know I've had people tell me, well, my Sabbath, my deal is on Sunday, because that's what I was raised to do.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I hate to break it to you, but God don't care what your Sabbaths are.
Mm-hmm.
He don't. He tells you what to do. He did. He told you then. He's telling you now the same thing. The covenant.
A covenant.
It's the same covenant.
Yep.
Gentile, there is not. God sees two things, two people. Who is it? Israel
and everybody
and the
else.
nations.
Yeah.
Who's the nations? Gentiles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There's not no 3 or 4 in between. It's 2. So that's a choice that you've got to make. Are you going to do as the Gentile? Are you going to do as the Israelite, the natural born? What the natural born seed does.
Yeah.
The Israel, the family.
There's a root there.
There's a root. That's right. And you got a choice there.
Yeah.
Which one you want to do?
Are you going to do a faith-based theology that is rooted in this Bible, or any of the other Bibles, but just rooted in the Bible, or are you going to take on a Roman-rooted religion that this Bible warns, that the very Messiah that's in this Bible warns about another Messiah coming teaching another gospel? The Messiah didn't come over here teaching Sunday, Easter, and Christmas.
No,
he didn't give any teaching on that. There was no instruction for that. He kept the feast days. He kept the Sabbath day. He says, I'm the Lord of the Sabbath day." Well, if he's the Lord of the Sabbath day, then that's his day.
That's right.
Then the Lord's day, other than the great and terrible day of the Lord that they talk about in Revelation, but when they say, well, we keep the Lord's day, no, you don't, because the Lord never specified on anything about keeping the first day of the week.
That's right.
That's something that the pagans did. That's what Rome did.
Yeah, and a lot of people come with, well, hey, it says right here on the first day of the week they broke bread. Well, why do you think they was breaking bread on the first day of the week? Because they just kept their Sabbath.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Am I right?
That's right. Yeah.
But even that still, where's the change? Where's the authority of change in that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Even if they did do it on the first day of the week, where's the change? That's what I was always. Where is the change? Where the Most High said, we're not doing this anymore. Because right here in Jeremiah 31:31, he would have said, he wouldn't say, I'm going to write my Torah in your heart and in your mind. He'd say, I'm not really worried about that anymore because I got something else set up. So, but he didn't say that there.
No,
There's no discussion about doing away with any part of the Torah.
No.
Now, does that mean that some things didn't change? Absolutely they changed, because the old covenant in the Torah, it was more fleshly and more outwardly, like circumcision was circumcision.
That's right. Now it's in your heart.
Yeah, now, you know,
Now it's in your heart.
the new covenant, it's internalized, it's spiritual, because Paul says in Romans, and I know we're going to get all up in Romans here in a minute, because we love some Romans.
Yeah, we love some Romans. There's a lot of misconceptions. That's a book that somebody will read something and stop where they want to see it. And if you just read on down,
yeah, you can.
you'll see what it's saying.
You can make things say what you want to say, and you can actually use this Bible and use precepts in this Bible to misteach this Bible. But you know, you have to be trying to pull out what the Bible's telling you and not reading in, because. And why do people even read in their own thoughts on it? Is because I don't understand. Why not just quit trying to work so hard to find ways to get around the Torah, or to figure out how you don't have to do that, and instead just take it in, accept it, and enjoy the blessings
That's right.
that come from being obedient.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's no telling where this video's about to go.
I'm telling you, man, we get on here and start chasing rabbits, but I love it.
Yeah.
It don't matter. That's how we do all the time.
Oh, yeah.
We go from one place of the Bible to the next, and I mean,
Yeah.
that's just how we are. But something about, I know he mentioned, and this is chasing rabbits here, but he mentioned a while ago about the Christmas and Easter. Basically these things that people have thrown in.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, if you're not gonna listen, you Google everything else. Google that at the history of where this stuff come from.
Yeah.
I'm being serious. And I'm not being mean when I say this, but if you're afraid to look at it, is it because you're afraid of the truth?
Mm.
That kind of shows how strong your faith is.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're so positive in the way that you believe, I'm talking to the ones that just believe that what we're teaching is just not right, then why are you so scared to go and search and look to at least make sure that what you're believing is right on track?
Yeah.
Am I right there? Am I saying anything wrong?
No, because you should, whatever it is that you're in, you should be able to test it against this Bible.
Absolutely.
And it should hold up. And the one that we're talking about basically has about 3 pillars to it. You can knock every one of them down, and that's Sunday, Easter, Christmas.
That's right.
Because none of those things are really spoken about. Now, sure, the first day of the week, and they didn't keep time like we keep.
No.
Or we keep it now because we understand the calendar. But when you go back to Genesis 1 or Genesis, the evening and the morning is the first day.
That's right.
So right now, is it dark? Well, Shabbat's not quite over right now. Okay, this is exactly what the apostles were talking about. This is what they were doing. This is why they broke bread on the first day. It wasn't on the Sunday morning at 10 o'clock when you get there for Sunday school. It was right about this time right here.
That's right.
Where the Shabbat is coming to an end. And when the sun's down, it's the first day. It's the first day of the week. It's no longer the Shabbat.
Right.
So just like we do, when the Shabbat's over, we don't want the Shabbat to be over. So we continue on into the first day.
That's
of
exactly
the week.
right.
It's not start something different and quit doing the Sabbath and show up at 10 o'clock in the morning for Sunday school. It's do Saturday school and all day long, and it should be so enjoyable that by the end of the evening, like right now, you should be about as excited as we are right and ate some good food and
ready to go on.
And I mean, this thing, we could go another 8 hours.
We could do another 8 hours.
Huh?
Yeah. We're getting sign language over here. But yeah, I mean, and hey, you are supposed to worship every day of the week. I am not telling you to not worship God on Sunday.
Yeah.
That's not what we're here to tell you. But if you're doing that over the Sabbath and you're going to a church that's teaching this stuff done away with, that's where it's wrong.
Yeah.
But hey, I'll go to church with you on a Sunday, Monday. It don't matter what day it is. But I'm not going to do away with the Sabbath.
Yeah.
I will keep my Sabbath.
Yeah, because it's the truth, and we want the truth, the whole truth, and nothing
but the truth. That's absolutely right. Well, are you ready to move on into the New Testament?
Yeah. We've been jabbering. Yeah, we'll move on in. Let's get it.
Well, I want to start the New Testament off with saying this. A good example that I use is simple. It's country boy terms, I guess you'd say.
We like country boy.
Yeah, that's how we know it. But people think that we're under a new covenant or a Gentile it's okay to be a Gentile because we don't have to do what they do. But right there, he's telling you that you're not to be like a Gentile. You're supposed to be like the family, which is the Israel. But you know, it's like my son Kason. He's my blood. That's my seed. But say I adopt a child. They're not my seed, but the same rules apply for that child as does my blood child. That's a father. Our father's the same way.
Yep.
Okay? There's not no two. He's not no respecter of persons. He sees one.
One.
Am I right?
Oh yeah.
He sees one. So you got to get that out of your head that the Gentile, we can be a Gentile. We do that was for Israel. We do our own thing. No, that's not how my father is. My father, he's one. It's one.
Because he said there's one Torah for the homeborn and the stranger.
And the stranger.
There's no or in there. He didn't say there's one for this one and then one for this one. He said there's one Torah for both. And you know, when you get later on into that new covenant and some of Paul's teachings, he starts talking about the oneness of the body of Christ. You know, that oneness there. You're neither Jew nor Greek. You know, Jew nor Gentile. There's neither one anymore. It's just Israel.
That's right.
It's just one body.
That's right.
So it's one Yah, one Torah, one Messiah, and one people.
It's one.
It's one. Kata.
Right, scene two. You're going the wrong direction.
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, I'm going to start in Ephesians 2, and we're going to read 19 through 22. It's about to get good.
Yes, it is. We're in the new covenant now.
We're in that new covenant now.
We're in the new covenant. We love it. Are you in the new covenant?
2, 19 through 22. I'll give you just a minute to flip there.
If you want to start before I'm always the slowest one.
All right, here we go. We're gonna roll on with it. So then you are no longer strangers and aliens, but you are fellow citizens with the saints and are of God's household, having been built on the foundation of the apostles and prophets, Christ Jesus himself being the cornerstone, in whom the whole building, being fitted together, is growing into a holy temple to the Lord, in whom you also are being built together into a dwelling of God in the Spirit. Okay. Was I in the right one there?
Did you do what I did?
Yeah.
Did you read the wrong one?
No, that's it. That's it. We got. Yeah. We basically, you got to look back. There's a bunch of places in the Bible where it says you want to know about this. Look to those. Look to what they were doing back then. You know what I mean? The prophets, the apostles back. That's what this is going off of.
Yeah.
So that being said, let me read Ephesians 4, 17 through 32. Give me 1 second, y'all. Ephesians 4, 17 through 32.
You got it in yours already?
So this I say and affirm together with the Lord that you walk. Here it is, y'all. Listen to it. This is New Testament. That you walk no longer just as the Gentiles also walk in the futility of their mind. Now I don't see how that's about as plain as it gets. Don't do it.
Sounds like there was something wrong with their mind.
Yeah, just as they are all today. You know what I mean? There's something wrong with it. Nah, I'm just kidding, y'all. But 18, being darkened in their understanding, excluded from the life of God because of the ignorance that is in them, because of the hardness of their heart. So we wasn't wrong for saying they were ignorant. I mean, the Bible's even calling, that's ignorant understanding is what this is saying.
Yeah.
I mean, you got the truth in front of your face.
Yeah. But they love their traditions, man. That's
the problem.
It's the same thing that was going. They love their traditions more than they love the Most High.
That's right.
So they don't want to give up. They don't want to give up all this fun they having on this earth. But the people that are in our position, in the truth, we're not living for this life. We're living for another life after this life. That means more to us than anything on this earth.
That's right. And can I tell you, when you get in this life, when you start living the truth, be prepared. The persecution is going to hit, is it not, Brent?
Oh, yeah. It's
The
big
persecution, you'll be lied on, you'll be, well, I ain't even going to get into that. But it can get bad.
Yeah.
I'll say that. It can get bad.
Yeah.
All right, 19. And they, having become callous, have given themselves over to the sensuality for the practice of every kind of impurity with greediness. But you did not learn Christ in this way, if indeed you have heard him and have been taught in him, just as truth is in Jesus. That in reference to your former manner of life, you lay aside the old self, which is being corrupted in accordance with the lust of deceit, and that you be renewed in the spirit of your mind, and put on the new self, which is in the likeness of God, has been created in righteousness and holiness and truth. Created in righteousness. Y'all remember what I said the definition of righteousness was, right? Right here, righteousness, acting accord with divine or moral law. Law's still there.
Law's still there.
Therefore, laying aside falsehood, speak truth, each one of you with his neighbor, for we are members of one another. Be angry, and ye do not sin. Do not let the sun go down on your anger, and do not give the devil an opportunity. He who steals must steal no longer, but rather he must labor, performing with his own hands with what is good, so that he will have something to share with one who has need. Let no unwholesome word proceed from your mouth, but only such a word as is good for edification according to the need of the moment, so that it will give grace to those who hear. Do not grieve the Holy Spirit of God, by whom you are sealed for the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and slander be put away from you, along with all malice. Be kind to one another, tenderhearted, forgiving each other, just as God in Christ also has forgiven you. Now, I didn't have to read the rest of that, but I wanted to, because he's telling you not to be like the Gentiles. The Gentiles are a lot of these things. Okay? That's why he's telling you not to be like them. When you come to the truth, you should be a new creature. You should forgive more than you ever have. Right?
And
The gossiping ought to go be toned way down.
Oh, yeah.
And that's something I think we all have struggled with in the past. I mean, you've been, know.
Yeah.
I'm guilty.
Me too.
But we've got to learn to not do it. I mean, you're tearing each other down.
Yeah.
That's not what we're here to do. Even on the Sunday side, we say a lot of stuff about the Sunday side because a lot of it's wrong.
Yeah.
But we're not tearing you down. We love you with all of our hearts. We love you.
We do. We used to be there.
That's right.
I mean, we joke around about it, and it might seem harsh, but it's really not. We joke in fun because we pick on each other all the time.
That's right.
But we really care about the other side. We really care about building our brothers up and at least telling them the truth, because I mean, what would be worse than, we've actually had this happen. I know we can't really probably speak it because it's got to do with work, but we had a young man pass, and that both tore us up pretty good because because we didn't witness to that brother. You don't know how much time you got, but we're to be a light to the nations. Even we were Gentiles of the flesh at one time. Now we're Israel, so now we're trying to be a light to the nations and bring them into the covenant and into the truth,
and not be boastful about it. We have to be careful on that. It's clear. We can't be boastful about it. But Matthew, let's flip over to Matthew, if we will. I mean, I could go all night on this stuff, y'all.
We can just about do the whole Bible.
I'm telling you, I love it.
But that's all right. We're gonna get what we need to get out there. Hopefully this is good. Hopefully everybody's enjoying it.
Matthew 5. I didn't tell you where to go. Matthew 5, 43 through 48. It's powerful stuff.
Oh, Matthew 5's big, man. There's a lot of good.
And when I'm speaking on the Gentiles here, remember, just keep in the back of your mind, we're in the New Testament, okay?
We are in the New Covenant.
Okay. Matthew 5, 43 through 48. You have heard that it was said, you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say to you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, so that you may be sons of your Father who is in heaven. For he causes his sun to rise on the evil and the good, and sends rain on the righteous and the unrighteous. For if you love those who love you, what reward do you have? Do not even the tax collectors do the same? If you greet only your brothers, what more are you doing than others? Here it is, y'all. Do not even the Gentiles do the same thing? Therefore, you are to be perfect as your heavenly Father is perfect. He's telling you right there with if you're considering yourself a Gentile, stop. I mean, it ain't good. I don't care what the preacher stands up there and tells you. I'm about to get fired up. I'm about to settle down.
Yeah.
I don't care. I honestly, I don't care what he's telling you. You're not a Gentile anymore if you're living the way you're supposed to be living. The Bible's clear on that.
Mm-hmm. If you are a Gentile, you're out of covenant.
Yeah, you're out of covenant. There's covenant. The only covenant is with Israel.
Yeah.
That's what we said earlier.
Yeah, and Gentile means out of covenant. It means out of covenant.
That's right.
That's what a Gentile is. They were the ones that are, dude, you're outside of the covenant. It's important to be inside the covenant.
That's right.
Doing the covenant.
That's right. He's right, y'all. He's right. But Matthew 6. Flip to Matthew 6 right there at us. 6 through 8. But you, when you pray, go into your inner room, close your door, and pray to your Father who is in secret. And your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you. And when you are praying, here it is, do not use meaningless repetition as the Gentiles do. For they suppose that they will be heard for their many words. Here it is, y'all. I got it underlined. If you ain't, underline it. So do not be like them. Who? The Gentiles. Mm-hmm. For your Father knows what you need before you ask Him. Pray then in this way. And it goes on to our Father who is in heaven. You've heard that. But here He is again, y'all, telling you don't be like the Gentiles. I don't see how the Father can be any more plain.
It can't be no more plain.
I don't even see how I didn't see it.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I get excited. But flip with me to Matthew 10. Matthew 10, and I'm gonna read 2 through 6. Now the names of the 12 apostles are these: the first, Simon, who was called Peter, and Andrew his brother, and James the son of Zebedee, and John his brother, Philip and Bartholomew, Thomas and Matthew the tax collector, James the son of Alphaeus and Thaddeus, Simon and Zealot, and Judas Iscariot, the one who betrayed him. Here it is. These 12 Jesus sent out after instructing them, do not go in the way of the Gentiles. I don't see how in the world it gets any more plainer than that.
Yeah, he don't even want to fool with them right now.
Right then he's not wanting them to fool with them.
Yeah. Why?
And do not enter any city of the Samaritans. Here it is, y'all, but rather go to who? The lost sheep of Israel.
Mm-hmm. The lost sheep of Israel.
I'm telling you, man.
He's concerned about Israel. Our Messiah is concerned about Israel.
That's right. That's who he's concerned about.
All Israel will be saved.
He didn't say all Gentiles.
Mm-mm.
I'm sorry. I'm just joking. I'm just
kidding.
kidding.
It's part of the message. I mean, there's no good way. There's no easy way to say it.
There's not.
There's a right and there's a wrong. You're in one kingdom or the other. It all boils down to one kingdom or the other. You can't walk and straddle the fence line on the kingdoms.
That's right.
I mean, it's kind of funny that people say, well, you can't do the Torah. Well, I thought about that today. Did you realize that is like taking an open book test? If you know the Torah, it tells you what sin is. If sin is transgression of the Torah, you got an open book right here. That's an open book test. I have been the kid that has failed the open book test, but it was out of laziness.
Yeah, that's right.
I wouldn't even get in the book and turn. I just started marking answers. So,
which is what a lot of us was doing before.
Yeah.
We were sitting there listening to a man tell us this, that, and the other,
Yeah.
and believing what he was saying. And hey, he might not. A lot of them not intentionally lying to y'all.
No,
They're not. They don't know themselves. Half of them don't even know what the Sabbath day is.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
Mm-hmm.
So don't take nobody. Don't even take mine and Brent's word for nothing.
Oh, no.
Get in the Bible, whether it be King James. I got an NASB here. He's got a Sefer. We use the scriptures a lot. One I'm wanting to get is the book of Yahweh. My pastor, I want to shout out to him real quick. You're doing a great job, Pastor Shane Bond. I know this is kind of out of the blue here, but I felt like I need to tell him, man, you're doing a great job standing for the truth. I salute you, sir.
Yes, sir.
But if you will, I'm gonna wrap the reading up in Romans. Let's hit Romans.
Let's hit Romans, man. We've been itching to do that all day. Well, I think we're gonna do a total. We need to do a total study on Romans.
We do.
There. You know what? As a matter of fact, we was already talking about this, but the next. We think we're gonna do start a little series, and I think we should call it misconceptions. Misconceptions about the dietary law. In the New Testament. Misconceptions about the Sabbath day in the New Testament. I think we should do a series on that. I think that would be fun to do. But misconceptions in Romans, that could be a 3-day. That could be a 3-day thing.
It could. I mean, there is a lot of people, when you get to witnessing the people and talking to them about the truth, they always want to refer to Romans. And I can understand. If you're not careful, Paul here, Paul's a very, very intelligent person. And you got to be careful how you take the way he's reading. And you know how we know this? Read Peter.
Yeah.
Peter tells you, be careful. Be careful from Paul's teaching, because he'll lead you to lawlessness unintentionally. So Peter tells you this. You can flip over there and read Peter, and you'll find that. What is it? 1 Peter or 2 Peter?
It's 2 Peter. It's right there towards the end.
Yes, toward the end there, you can read that he's telling you, be careful of Paul here. I mean, not that Paul's wrong. It's just the way he teaches.
Yeah.
But here it is, Romans 11:25. For I do not want you, brethren, to be uninformed of this mystery, so that you will not be wise in your own estimation, that a partial hardening has happened to Israel until the fullness of the Gentiles has come in. Now, if you're supposed to be a Gentile, what are you going into?
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
That's right.
So let's read, this should have started 2. Flip back with me to Romans 2, and I'm going to do 12 through 16.
Oh, this whole chapter is good.
Mm-hmm.
Romans 2, 12 through 16. For all who have sinned without the law will also perish without the law. And all who have sinned under the law will be judged by the law. For it is not the hearers of the law who are just before God, but the doers of the law will be justified.
Mm-hmm.
Law's been done away with.
Yeah, but they get muddled up on that first part because on that first part, what was actually, where does it start? Where'd you start?
12.
12, yeah, 12. Because when you listen to it, for as many as have sinned without Torah also shall perish without the Torah. So they're saying, yeah, so I'm going to perish without the Torah, and as many as have sinned in the Torah shall be judged by the Torah. So then they go, well, you're going to get judged by the Torah. Well, that's what we all going to get judged by.
That's exactly right.
Everybody's going to be judged by what they did or didn't do according to the Torah, because if you have a kingdom and you have a judge, there's got to be a law to be judged by.
Absolutely.
You have to be judged by something based off of something.
Okay.
You can't just be judged off of, if the law was done away with, what exactly are you going to be judged by if the law is done away with? And that just means everybody goes to heaven.
That's exactly right. Hallelujah.
Yeah, right. Hallelujah, because it just don't work like that, because it says the way is narrow and the gate is small and few will find it.
Few will find it, y'all.
Yeah, few will find it. I mean, you can go be with the many all you want, but it didn't work out too good for the cats that wasn't inside the ark.
That's exactly right. Boy, I'm telling you.
The many was outside the ark. There wasn't but 8 people inside the ark.
That's right.
You know, it didn't work out too good for Sodom and Gomorrah.
No.
There's only 2 that got out of there.
Listen, y'all, the majority
Well,
never
3.
wins. Right? The majority never wins.
Not in the Bible.
Not in the Bible is what I'm talking about.
The many, I wouldn't be following the many. And I mean, how many how many on the other side we got? There's like 2 billion.
2 billion, y'all.
2 billion, and there's not too many of us.
What does that tell you?
Yeah, you could skip counties before you find another million.
If you could. Oh man.
But that's that's actually one that they muddle up, because it says in there, those under the Torah will be judged by the Torah. Well, they think under the Torah means the people that keep the Torah. If you're under the Torah, there's a word that's been left out there. Under the penalty of the Torah.
Yeah.
What that means you've broken the Torah. That means, so if you're under the Torah, you're going to be judged by the Torah because you're breaking the Torah.
That's exactly right. That's just like nowadays. You're not under the law, the penalty of the law, unless you what? You break the law.
Yeah.
Same thing with the Bible, the Torah.
Yeah.
If you break the Torah, the commandments, and all, and if you're under it.
You're under the penalty of the law.
You're under the penalty. That's right. But hallelujah, now we don't have to die for it.
No, you don't have to die for it. Somebody's already died for that.
That's exactly right.
So if you here's a good little analogy. So you're driving down the road and you run a stop sign. The cop sees you run the stop sign. He pulls you over. He gives you a ticket. You go to court. You don't have the money to pay the ticket. You just transgressed the law and you don't have the money to pay the ticket. So somebody that you don't know comes up and says, "I'll pay the ticket." You're free. You're freed from that part of the law.
Hallelujah, boy, that's good stuff.
But does that mean we abolish all stop signs? All stop signs go away. Somebody paid my ticket for running a stop sign. Now there's no more stop signs. I don't have to stop anymore. It does not work that way. It's that if that's the case, I don't even want to be in nothing like that.
That's right.
That makes no sense whatsoever to me. That hey, you just if you can just say it's done away with, and that's probably what the devil did.
Yeah.
He at some point he inserted himself up in here and said, "Well, if I can just get them to do this, because number one, I can't change the truth, but I can mess it up pretty good for you, and maybe I'll figure a way to you can forget about part of it."
Yeah, he's a perverter of everything. He's a perverter of things.
He's a pervert.
He don't create nothing.
No, he
but
can't.
Boy, he can sure enough pervert some stuff.
He can kill stuff.
Yeah, he got that right.
Yeah, he
got that right.
It's just, it is what it is.
Well, let me read this.
I'm sorry, man.
We're about to get this place fired up in here, and I'm telling you.
Yeah, I hope you get through the first 30 minutes of the video to get right here.
I'm telling you, man. Yeah. But right here, let me read. This is Romans 2:14. Let me pick back up with that. But I tell you, but I still feel him.
I do too.
Man, that's good stuff.
I've been feeling them all day, man. We've been all over.
For when Gentiles who do not have the law do instinctively the things of the law, instinctively of the law, these not having the law are a law to themselves. The Gentile, the Sunday churches, they do what in their own mind their law.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And ain't that what this is?
And in their mind, in that law, there's a little mixing of the truth in there.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. See, you've got to stop doing what you think's right in your mind.
Right, oh yeah.
That don't matter. I'm sorry, tradition, whatever. Throw it out the window as if it's not in the Bible.
That's right.
Just throw it out the window. I'm telling you, I love you. We're trying to help you.
Hey, here's a math problem for you. What's half a truth?
Half a truth. You got me stoned.
It's a whole lot.
It's a whole lot. That's exactly right.
Half a truth is a whole lot.
That's exactly right. It shows how smart I am, y'all.
No, I didn't
You
get
tell
it.
I'm from Biggins.
I forgot that.
Hey,
what
man, I love it.
I'm starting to wonder what we're trying to establish here is what root are you partaking of?
That's right.
And we may have already said this earlier in the video, but we were so full of food, I don't even remember that part of it. But our ladies take care of us over here now.
Man, y'all don't know what you missing.
And but yeah, it's what was I saying?
Something about food.
Oh yeah,
Root.
Oh, the root. What root?
Yeah.
What root are you partaking in? Are you taking in the true root that's in the Bible? That's actually spoken of in here.
Yeah.
Our Messiah, the true Messiah in the Bible, he never abolished anything in the Most High's law because that's his father.
That's right.
Now, if he comes teaching against his father, that it don't work like that. It's that the Father never said in these new covenant when everybody starts prophesying about the new covenant. There's nowhere in there where he says, but you know, he don't care about the Sabbath and then not care about the Sabbath and then he's going to care about the Sabbath again in the millennial kingdom, because even in the millennial kingdom it says
You're going to be doing the Sabbath.
We're going to be doing the Sabbath and the feast days. We're just going to be doing it with him. Which, oh my gosh, how good would that be?
I'm telling you, man, it's gonna be something.
Can you imagine Feast of Tabernacles?
Oh,
you know,
wow.
there.
Yeah. Basically, what Brent's trying to say is, and he said it right, and I'm gonna elaborate on it a little bit in country boy terms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeshua didn't come to die on the cross to give you your way.
No.
That's what it boils down to.
No.
If you think all these things was done away with, you're wanting it your way.
Yeah.
It ain't have it your way.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's not how it is with Yahweh.
Yeah. Well, you just told him you can't be right in your own mind.
You can't be right in your own mind.
You gotta be right in the truth, because only the wisdom that's in this Bible. That's the only thing that means anything is the wisdom that's in the Bible. Because this Bible, it makes the foolish wise and the wise foolish.
That's right.
I'm an idiot. But through the Holy Spirit that read my Bible,
That's right.
I'm becoming wiser and wiser, not in my own mind, but wiser and wiser in the things that please.
Well, the Bible says to study to show yourself approved.
It sure does.
And I'm telling you, if you're scared to get into and study stuff out and see where stuff comes from, get to the root of stuff, your faith ain't where it needs to be. Because if you have true faith, you'll have the power of discernment. Am I right there, Brent?
Oh yeah, you'll have the power of discernment. I mean, that's another reason for the Torah. I mean, is so that you don't get deceived, because all the deception is outside of the Torah, not inside the Torah.
That's exactly
The Torah
right.
is the truth. We already read it in Psalms 119, 142.
That's right. The Torah is the truth.
Your Torah is the truth. Your ways are the truth. I mean, he can't lie.
No, he can't lie.
I mean, you really think he's going to give you burdens that you can't handle? Because he's not. Now, men will give you burdens. They will add things too that makes it a burden, like they did in Judaism, which is that's not what an Israelite is. An Israelite is someone who's attached himself to the Most High of Israel.
That's right.
And they believe on the Messiah of Israel.
That's right.
That's coming back to get his bride, which is Israel.
Israel.
It all boils down, it's one people. There's only one people. But that one people can be everybody. Israel is a people. It is a mixed multitude. The two sticks, all that stuff, there's from my understanding of reading the scriptures, Israel's one thing.
Yeah.
It's one people, and the thing that ties all those people together is the Most High and the covenant.
Yeah.
And the Messiah is part of that, because he's the mediator of the
right.
covenant.
He's the mediator.
So, I mean, without a mediator of the covenant, you're lost. There's nobody's doing anything then.
That's right. That's right. Well, let me read one more here. And this is the one we got excited about. It's in Romans.
Mm-hmm.
Romans 11, 16, 17. Romans 11, 16, 17. If the first piece of dough is holy, the lump is also. And if the root is holy, the branches are too. But if some of the branches were broken off, and you, being a wild olive, were grafted in among them, and became partaker with them of the rich root of the olive tree, do not be arrogant toward the branches. But if you are arrogant, remember that it is not you who supports the root, but the root supports you. That's powerful.
That is powerful. It's
Man.
a tree. And there's a root. There's a root that feeds that tree. And that root's the Messiah, Yeshua HaMashiach.
Absolutely.
That's the root. That's why we always say that Jesus is the root, the Torah is the fruit. I mean, that's why we always say that, because Israel is always portrayed as a tree.
Yeah.
It's always portrayed, just like when Paul said, when you was a Gentile, you was a wild olive tree.
Yeah.
Disconnected from the Most High, apart from the covenants and the promises of the Most High. You were running around alone. You were just running around in sin. You had no promise of the covenants to take part in the fatness of the root.
That's right.
It's because you was running around being a Gentile.
Yeah, and if you still ain't convinced of what the Bible's trying to tell you, did you know that the Gentile is considered a pig in the Bible?
Mm.
And what's a pig?
Wow.
Unclean.
It's unclean. It's an abomination.
That's an abomination. So I don't know, man. I don't know what else we can say to show them the truth on you're no longer a Gentile. You're to walk in the Israelite way.
Yeah. And you know what? The only people that you got to really think about this. If the Most High's Torah is holy, perfect, and good, the only people that would flee from something that's holy, perfect, and good are people who are not holy, perfect, and good.
Yeah.
Meaning they're evil. Well, if you're evil, you won't want nothing to do with nothing good. And
That's
if you're
right.
good, you don't want nothing to do with anything evil.
You're right.
So all we're trying to do is get some truth out there, brothers and sisters, because this thing's wrapping up.
It's wrapping up, and we're just trying to put it out there. We get fired up sometimes,
As best we can.
As best we can. We try to keep it humble as we can,
Yeah.
and but we're trying. We're trying to show the love and the truth.
Yeah.
That's the goal. But if Brent's done, I'm done.
Yeah, I'm pretty much done. There was one more in there. One more thing I was gonna say. Oh yeah. At the end of this thing, and I'm gonna go to Ecclesiastes 12:13, and I think that'll be the last thing I read because I think it, and it's Old Testament, but I think Solomon really said it good when he said it. If I can find it.
I can't never find
Ecclesiastes is like that book you never see.
I'm serious.
It really is. You never see it. There it is. Here, we found it at the same time, man.
Knew it was somewhere around Proverbs.
It's a short book too, but it's all the way at the end. Ecclesiastes 12:13. This is what Solomon says. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Elohim and guard his commandments, for this is the whole duty of a man. Not the whole duty of, some religious sect or anything like that. This is the whole duty of man. Fear Elohim and keep his commandments, for Elohim shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. At the end of the day, brothers and sisters, when we get to the end of this thing, either you kept his commandments or you didn't.
That's right.
That's all that's going to matter. You either reverenced his Torah or you trodden it under your feet. You one of the two.
That's right.
And with that, I'm done. I mean, I don't get no more plain than that. You either do it or you don't.
You either
It's
do
up
it or
to
you don't. And again, we've read y'all that you can go to the King James. I know I said it a while ago, but you can go to any Bible, King James or whatever you want to go to. It's there. It's there. I promise you, it's there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I will say this, and here I go back on running rabbits. The people that's telling you that it's only the King James Bible, do not listen to that. The King James Bible is a great Bible.
Oh yeah.
But there's people out there that tell you those books in the King James Bible is all that there is. Let me tell you something. These books right here was in the. These not the book. These books were on the Dead Sea Scrolls,
Mm-hmm.
and that I'm getting into some deep stuff here. But so were these in Brent's Sefer Bible here.
Yeah, with the Apocrypha.
Who gave the authority to take these books, which is the King James books, and take the Apocrypha? Who gave the authority to take that out? Man, it wasn't God. What did Yahweh say? Do not add or take away.
Don't add or take away.
So if there's no authority to take these books of the Bible out, what gives a man a right to stand there in front of a congregation and tell you that that's the only Bible, the only books that you are to read?
Be careful of people telling you not to read something.
Yes, please be careful, because I'm telling you, if all of these were on the Dead Sea Scrolls, what was they was all together? What's wrong with reading the other stuff?
Yeah.
All that's going to do is tie in all this stuff.
Yeah.
It's going to fill in those gaps.
Mm.
So I'm just telling you that now I'm not bashing the King James Bible, but there is flaws there.
Yeah.
There's flaws.
I think we're gonna get into that in some of these other videos when we do the misconceptions.
We are.
We're gonna use a lot of King James, and we're gonna do some cross references.
Yes,
the
sir.
name of this, the point to shoot for, came from a verse in the King James Bible.
Absolutely, and that's we do guys another video. I gotta be careful. I get ahead of it. We'll be telling on. We got
in a minute here. We'll be doing another video.
But y'all, we have thoroughly enjoyed it tonight. Yeah. Man, I mean, I know this was a lengthier video, but we love this stuff. If you can tell, we love it.
Yeah.
We love our Father, our Yahweh, and we're here just to do a work for Him, not to make ourselves bigger. We want to make ourselves smaller and Him much bigger.
That's right.
That's the goal. But we got to spread the word, be a light to the nations.
That's right.
But in that being said, we love you. Please like and subscribe at the bottom of the page there to help us. And if you do have comments, bad or good, if they're bad, please keep them respectful. But send it to us, and we will elaborate on that in another video.
Yeah.
We'll help you with that the best we can. But I think we're done with that.
Yeah.
Y'all have a good night. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.